One quiet afternoon in the beautiful city of Zagreb, the famous cellist Stjepan Hauser decided to do something unusual. Instead of performing on a grand stage with bright lights and thousands of fans, he wanted to return to something simple, playing music for ordinary people in the street. Hauser woke up early that day feeling inspired. The sunlight streamed through his window as he carefully prepared his cello. Music had always been his way of connecting with people, and today he wanted to share that connection in a different way. He walked through the old streets of Zagreb carrying his cello case. People passed by him without realizing that one of the world's most famous cellists was walking among them. Finally, he stopped at a small square surrounded by historic buildings and cozy cafes. The sound of birds and distant conversations filled the air. Hauser quietly sat on a wooden bench, opened his cello case, and placed the instrument beside him. A few curious people began to watch. Then Hauser lifted his bow and started to play. The first notes were soft and emotional. The sound of the cello echoed gently through the square. Slowly, more people began to gather. A couple stopped their walk. A group of tourists turned their cameras toward him. A little boy sat down on the pavement, watching with wide eyes. Within minutes, a small crowd had formed. The music became more powerful, filled with passion and feeling. Hauser closed his eyes as he played, completely lost in the melody. His fingers moved effortlessly across the strings, creating a sound that felt almost magical. People in the crowd began to whisper, "Is that really Hauser?" Someone started recording on their phone. Another person applauded loudly between the musical phrases. The entire square was now filled with excitement and wonder. But for Hauser, the moment wasn't about fame. It was about sharing music with people in the most natural way possible. As the final notes of the melody floated into the air, the crowd burst into applause. Some people even stood up to clap for him. Hauser smiled warmly. A young girl walked forward and said softly, "That was the most beautiful music I've ever heard." Hauser gently nodded and thanked her. Before leaving, he played one final short melody, a joyful tune that made everyone smile. Then he packed his cello, waved to the crowd, and quietly walked away through the streets of Zagreb once again. But for the people who witnessed that moment, it was something unforgettable. Sometimes the most beautiful concerts don't happen in big arenas. Sometimes they happen in the middle of a quiet street. And that day, the city of Zagreb experienced a little bit of magic from Hauser's cello.